Everybody says you need After Effects to create these type of UI UX animations, but let me show you how you can do that in DaVinci Resolve, and it's simple. So in today's tutorial, I'll be walking you through step by step how to recreate this edit you are seeing on your screen. And if that sounds like a good idea, kindly hit the subscribe button to motivate me to create more content. Let's get into the video. The first thing is to go to the edit page and search for Fusion Composition. Search for Fusion Composition. After you see it, if you don't see it, make sure you click on that drop down icon and select all folders and drag the Fusion Composition into your timeline. Let's close it. Now let's go to the Fusion page, and this is where our animation would begin. Right, let's drag the media out and bring a background node in and drag it and connect it to the media out so you can see it show. The next thing is to hit shift space bar and bring in a grid node. So select the grid, the one on top, use the one on top and click add and drag it into your timeline just as you see me do. Now select the grid node, go to the inspector, and then let's make adjustment to the row cells and the column cells so that they look a bit small. We don't want them that large. And then we'll just work on the major line separation. We'll just work on it so that it becomes small. So until it looks small, we leave it like that, right? We just want everything to be that small. We are just trying to create a grid basically for our background, that's all. Now select the color and let's decrease it to the black side until the grid is a bit disappearing, right? So just decrease it to the black until the grid is a bit disappearing, just as you see me do. Click on OK when you are done. Select the grid node, hit shift space bar again, and this time type vignette. So you can see the vignette, select it and hit add. Hold your shift and drag it into the line that you are seeing, right? So you hold shift. If you don't hold shift, it wouldn't drag in. And let's increase the softness. Let's increase the softness a bit. So you increase the softness until it gives you that nice background. All we are doing is trying to create that nice background, right? Now I downloaded an MP4 video, so I want to drag it in to give me that nice neon look. So I'll drag it into my Fusion timeline. Now hit shift space and I'll type merge, right? Because without the merge node I can't input any background, right? So I'll connect the merge node and I'll connect the background to the merge node like that. So just as you can see me do. So that's how your connection should be. Now select the transform node and drag it in between the media in and the merge node, right? And I'll use the transform to scale up my neon video, right? So something like that. Now the next thing I'll do is I'll arrange everything well, drag the media in up a bit. Let me close all this so that we get a lot of space so that I see what is happening. So I'll select that and then hit the rectangle marks. Or let me use blur. Let me just pick the blur first. So I'll pick blur so that we blur the background a bit. I'm just going to blur the background a bit. So just as you can see me do, I'll blur the background a bit. So as you can see, the background has been blurred out a bit. I'll select the media in and I'll bring in a rectangle mark. So you can see that it has now been small. And I'll drag out the corner radius to the very end. Adjust the height and adjust the width. So I get a very nice looking shape of neon. Just as you can see until you get something like this, right? Yeah. So let me drag through the timeline so you can see that the neon video plays in your black background, right? I'll hit the transform and increase the size a bit, or I'll play around with the size until it looks a bit filled to capacity, right? Until everything looks nice. I'll select the merge node, hit shift space bar and type in merge node again, and I'll bring in a new merge node, right? I'll click away from the node, hit shift spacebar, and this time I'll type displace. So I'll bring in a displace node, I'll click add, and then I'll connect the displace node to the merge node, and I'll connect the first merge node to the yellow output, right? So the first merge node, I'll connect it to the yellow output, just as you can see me connect like that. Make sure your connection is done like that, else you're not going to have the animation, right? What we are trying to create is that liquid glass effect that Apple uses, right? So you bring in a rectangle node, and then you connect the rectangle node. Let me connect the rectangle node to the green output of the displays, and connect the merge node, your second merge node, to the blue output, right? So you connect the merge node to the blue output that you are seeing there. That merge node, you connect it like that. So that's how your connection should be. You can pause the video and then screenshot whatever is going on there, right? You can pause the video so that you see whatever is going on. Now I'll select my displays, and I'll go to offset, and I'll change the offset to -1. So after changing my offset to -1, I'll come to the rectangle marks that I've brought in, right? And I'm just going to increase the corner radius and play around with the height and play around with the width, right? I'm trying to create that liquid glass effect like that. I'll select my displace node, come to my refraction strength, and I'll change it into -4, or you can just drag it towards the left, right? So just as you can see, now I'll just increase the spread, and you can see that that liquid glass effect is gradually showing, right? So you can see we are doing something there, right? Now let me navigate through my timeline and select everything on my left and drag it towards the left so that I get space, right? You're about to do something there for the liquid glass effect to pop out very, very well. I'll select that merge node. So just look at what is happening on your screen. I'll select the first merge node, and I'll type merge again. So I'll bring in another merge node, right? So as you can see, I brought another merge node. I'll drag and then copy my media in 1, which is the neon background. Hit Ctrl C, drag anywhere on the timeline, hit Ctrl V. If you are using MacBook, you use Command V, right? But if you are using Windows, you use Control. And I'll connect it to the merge node like that. Just can see I've connected it to the merge node. Now I'll come and select the rectangle, hit Ctrl or Command C, right, to copy it. Come anywhere in the timeline, hit Ctrl or Command V based on what you are using, and connect it to the media in 1, which is the background that I connected there. Now just you can see that it's very small, right? It's very small. It's not that big. If you scrap our video through, you can see that it's not that big, right? So we need to increase it to fill the entire liquid glass effect, right? So what we'll do is we'll come and select the transform node as well, hit Ctrl C, and then come and paste the transform node in between the merge node and the media in, the new media in that we brought, right? In between them like that. So you hold shift and drag it in between them exactly like that. So you can see that now it has been expanded, and you can see that it has given a bit of 3D effect to your liquid glass effect. Exactly, something like that. Now the next thing is to select our transform node and then scale it up a bit until it fits very well. Exactly. Now select our rectangle node. It's now time for our animation, right? We are now trying to animate the rectangle or the liquid glass effect that we created, because you know in Apple the liquid glass effect has an animation. So we'll click on the width and we'll hit animate, right? And we'll make sure our playhead is at the very first point, right? And then we'll drag it down a bit. We'll drag our weight down, and we'll drag our height down as well until it looks like a circle, right? So if it looks like a circle, then we are good to go. Now we'll come 8 frames forward, right? You come 8 frames forward, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? And then you expand your weight past the first liquid glass that you are seeing a bit. So just as you can see me do, so you drag your weight out, and will come forward 7 frames, right? So you come forward 7 frames, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? So you come forward 7 frames. Okay, 7. Okay, that's 7. So when you are done with the 7 frames, you go back past that liquid glass that you're already seeing. So you just drag the weight down and be looking on your screen until you've gone past that first point, and then you go forward again 6 times. So the forward we go 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, right? So make sure end at 4, and then this time we'll drag the weight past the original liquid glass that we are seeing. And I think this 5, 6, so we are going 5 frames forward. So we'll come 5 frames forward, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll drag our weight again, right? We'll drag our weight in again like that, right? And then finally we'll come back 4 frames. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Come back 4 frames, and then we'll drag it to sit exactly on the old liquid glass effect we are seeing, right? So if we take our playhead and then we scrub through, it goes out and then comes in, it goes out and then comes in, something like that, right? If you take our playhead and play through, it becomes a circle and gradually comes in. Now let's make it smooth. Select the rectangle node that you are seeing, just select that one and come up to spline, right? And make sure you check the box for it, which is the rectangle, and click on this zoom to fit icon at the corner there. Expand everything, drag up and select all the nodes and hit S on your keyboard, and it's going to automatically smoothen everything out, right? It's going to automatically smoothen everything out. So something like this. Okay, now we hit Ctrl C and I will copy it, right? Let me drag it here. So you copy that animation you've done, hit Ctrl V and paste it, and replace it with the old rectangle that you did. So just delete the old rectangle that you did there and rather connect the one that has been animated. So animate the 2 liquid glasses that you've done. I don't know if you get what we just did there. Let me just delete it. We have to add something. So go back to your rectangle, go to settings, and let's add some motion blur, right? So increase the motion blur. It would make it look natural to the eye. So you just copy it again, Ctrl C, come back, Ctrl V, and then connect it to the media in, something like that, right? So you can see that when you scrub through, it's going to animate the 2 rectangles that you've done, giving you that liquid glass effect. Okay, and the next thing we'll do is we'll select everything. We want space, so we'll select everything and we'll drag it towards the left, right? We'll just drag it towards the left so that we have enough space to work with. We select the media out and then straighten it a bit so everything is aligned well. Let's close the inspector so we have a lot of space. Okay, so something like this. So we have a lot of space, so you see what is going on there. Yeah, so the next thing is we'll come and select our merge node, which is the first merge node you are seeing there, exactly that one. So we build on it. That's how the fusion is, and set another merge node. So we'll search for another merge node and we'll hit add, right? Merge node, and hit add. Don't select the 3D merge node, please. You are working with a normal merge node, right? So always keep in mind. Click anywhere out of the merge node and I will type text. I'm going to bring in our first text, right? So you just type text. Make sure you pick the normal text, not the 3D text, and then hit add. And then we'll connect our text node to the new merge node that we just did, right? Select the text node. Oh, let's see. Okay. Select the text node. And then let's go up to the inspector. Click on the inspector. And then you can type anything that you want to type at all, right? Let me drag it so that I see the notes as well and whatever is going on. So you type anything I want to type. So in this case, let me just type subscribe. And guys, kindly subscribe because it took me a lot of time to make this video. My PC was even lagging, so kindly subscribe. So I'll just go and then select any font of my choice. So in this case, I want to choose Poppins. I can choose to go for bold or extra bold. So with this part, I'm just making adjustment to my text. So I'll just increase the size. I'm just playing around with my text, right? Basically that. I'll right click my text box and hit follower. Right, so we'll create an animation for the text as well. I've created tons of text animations in DaVinci Resolve, so you can go and watch them on my channel. I'll click gradient and I'll change the gradient of the text. Right, let me increase it so you see whatever is going on there. Let me drag up. Okay, I believe you can see it now. So I'll select the first pattern. I can just change it into any color that I want. Right, so let's pick a color that would suit that liquid glass animation that we are seeing there. Okay, I think this looks nice, or we can change it anytime, right? So let's just leave it for the time being so the video doesn't become that long. Right, now we need to animate the text, right? So we are going to pick one of the animations I've already recorded on my channel and then do it real quick. Okay, so to animate it, we go to modifiers, go to follower, and then you come to spacing. Right, take your playhead to where you want the text to begin to appear. Right, wherever you want the text to begin to appear. Let me take it to the first. Let me take it to the first. Okay, where I want it to appear. So when it comes, okay, I think that point, that's where I want it to appear. Right, so on the 5th or 10th position. So you just look at your animation and look at where you want the text to appear and just follow whatever that I'm doing there. Right, so let's scroll down a bit. Make sure your modifiers is selected. Put a keyframe on the opacity and take it to 0. Scroll down till you see position. Look for the Y. Put a keyframe. Let's go back to the follower. Click on the follower. Come back to the Y. Let's change the Y to minus 0.3. Right, let's change the Y to minus 0.3. Now we'll bring our playhead forward. A bit. Okay, something like that. And then I will change our Y position to 0. Right, we change our Y position to wait, the first one didn't work. Let me do it again. So let me just repeat the first process. So I'll change the Y to 0.3, bring my playhead forward at where all the liquid glass animation is done, and I'll bring my Y position to 0. Right, so something like that. So I just bring my Y position to 0. I'll drag up to my opacity and I'll crank it up to 100 like that. Right, now I'll come to timing. Now go to order between left and right. So I want it to go from left and right, and I'll change the delay settings to 2 or 3, anyhow you want to do it. Right, so if you play it, my playback is lagging. If you play it, you are going to see it come up and come up like that. Right, so it comes from the bottom and then it gradually forms up like that. Right, okay, now the next thing is I'll close the inspector. Let me navigate to where the nodes are. I'll select the text node, come to spline, and I'll come and smoothen out that animation I just did. Anytime you make an animation in DaVinci Resolve, make sure you've smoothed it out. Right, that makes it look natural to the eye and pleasing to the eye as well. Right, alright, so just make sure we turn everything off and just leave only the one for the text animation. Right, and then we'll select everything and hit S on our keyboard. Right, now let's drag it out. We scroll through and it comes up smoothly like that. Right, so you should get something like this by now. Right, you should get something like this by now. And guys, if your playback is that bad, kindly make sure you change it into quarter. Right, now if I want you to see higher quality preview, that's why I've cranked my playback to full quality. Right, that's why it's lagging a bit, but make sure you change yours to higher quality. Right, now the next thing I'm going to do is add a transform and place it in between the text and the merge. Right, so that will be able to adjust the size of the text node. Right, so make sure you add a transform in between them. Right, to come to inspector, we decrease the size a bit, want it to fit, and I will take the X position to the corner so that it comes to that corner position. Right, that's basically what we want to do. Okay, I think that position is fine. Let's select again and let's adjust it a bit. So we'll just adjust it a bit. So to adjust it, make sure you've selected a transform node. It's very important, else it's not going to move. Now the next thing is let's navigate through everything. Well, if we take our playhead and scroll through, it becomes a circle and gradually comes up like that, right? Now the next thing is we're going to select our text and let's change the name. I think we'll be using a subscribe at the other side. So let me type Mr. King, right? So that's why I told you you can change it. You always have the ability to change the text, right? So you can just do this and even save it as a preset, so you would be able to use any day and any time that you feel like making an animation. All right. So yeah, it's something that you can save. I mean, we are just doing a simple tutorial. So just select the merge, the new merge, and then we'll type another merge, right? So anytime you want to bring anything like text, video, image, we work with the merge, right? So keep in mind, it will help you a lot. We will drag a background node and connect it. So you can see that the entire screen has become black. Don't bother. We'll drag our rectangular marks like that and drag it into the timeline like that. Or you can just double click it and then make sure it's connected to the background node. We'll crank up our width and height. We'll play with our width and height until it becomes small, and then take our corner radius way to we'll take our corner radius to 100. Yes, something like that. So we'll drag our weight up. We just want to create an inner button, right, where we'll put the subscription. So what we want to do is a mouse will come out and then come and click on that inner button, right? So that's something that we want to create. Apple is very fond of doing such things. So yeah, and we need to play with the x position, the x position rather. Let me bring it to 0 again, and we'll play with the x position until it goes to the corner like that, right? So we'll just make sure it goes to the corner like that. Okay, something like that. I think that place is fine. Oh yeah, that place is fine for now, right? We can do adjustments to them anytime we want. We'll select our background and change the color to fit whatever we want to do. The black color doesn't really sit well, right? So just select it and come to the color, and then we'll change it. So let's test out colors. Let's make it that pink. Okay, okay, I think this is fine, and hit OK, right? So just as you can see, we've created a cool text like that, right? And next we'll go to our rectangular marks, right? Let's decrease it a bit and then bring it inside a bit. It should come inside a bit, right? So select your rectangular marks and you make sure it's a bit inside. Okay, so we are just positioning things well. Okay, now the next thing I'm about to do is to let's select our background and bring the alpha down a bit, so it looks like that liquid glass, right? Because in the liquid glass nothing looks extremely blooming, right? Everything looks a bit dimmed. Okay, so now we need to animate that one as well, that rectangular marks that we just created, right, in order to fit with whatever that is going on with the liquid glass, right? So we select our rectangular marks, and the way we did it for the first one, we are just going to do the same thing here, right? So you go forward 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1 8 7 6 5 4. Yes, just we end at 4, right? And then just be playing around with the width, right? So just as we did for the first animation, that's basically the same thing, right? So the processes just basically repeat themselves, right? So I'll just take my playhead back and bring it forward 8 frames, and then change my width, bring it forward 7 frames, and I'll change my width, bring it forward 5 frames, and I'll change my width, right? So yeah, that's basically what I'll do. Okay. Oh, my playback has started lagging, guys. I don't know if any of you can recommend any good monitor or any good PC that I can buy that wouldn't be lagging like this, because I don't know when I'm making tutorials and I take the quality up, it begins to lag. It begins to lag very it's something else. But then when I'm editing on the normal, where I don't use these things, it doesn't really lag. So we'll go to settings, come to motion blur, and then increase the quality as well to give it that motion blur. We'll select our rectangular marks and come to spline, and then we'll do the same thing, right? So just as I told you, it's basically a repetition of the things that we are doing. So we'll come to spline, and I'll come and hit this open icon, we'll select everything that is in there, right? And then we'll hit S on our keyboard to smoothen all the animation that we've done to the second thing there, right? Exactly. So you should get something like that, right? Now, guys, I wouldn't really be playing back, but then you can play back if your playback is very effective, right? So that my PC doesn't lag, so I can complete this tutorial for you guys. I'll select the background and let me crank up the alpha up a bit. Now the next thing is I'll select the merge, hit shift space bar and type merge again, or I can just hit enter because a merge was already searched. And the next thing I'll do is I'll copy that text node that we did already that has been animated and just bring it in. Hit Ctrl V. So I'll hit Ctrl C and Ctrl V and drag it in to our new merge node, right? So we want to add another text into that small button that is there, right? So here's where we type our subscribe, right? So we'll type subscribe in here. Okay, and then we'll play around with the color. For this one, let's leave it at white for now. That is for now, right? Let's leave it at solid white for now. And let's change the position. Let me zoom out so that I see. So let's change the position, right? So that it sits in there well. Let's change the position. Oh, that's too much. And let's bring it in. I think we need to decrease the size. We need to decrease the size a bit. We just want it to be in that shape, exactly like that, right? So we need to decrease the size. So to decrease the size, just come to the text and then just decrease the size from there, right? So that it fits in very well, like that. So something like that is cool. Exactly. Now we can increase or decrease the size. Just play around with it and drag it until it sits in the center, right? Something like that. Now the next thing we'll do is we want to give this one a different animation, right? We want to give this one a different animation. So we'll take our playhead back and scrub through where everything has settled before we bring the subscribe button in. I hope you get it. So I think that point, that's where everything has settled. So we'll go to our follower and come to our modifier. And then we'll turn off all the keyframes for the initial edit. Because remember the first one was animated differently, right? So just turn off all the keyframes that we did. So the keyframe and the opacity and the keyframe on the Y position that we did initially, we just turn them off. So that this one looks as if it has no animation to it, right? That's all we want to do. And then we'll animate it how we want, right? So at this position where we want it to come in, we'll take our opacity down to 0, and then we'll bring our playhead forward where we want it to show, and then we'll bring our opacity way to 100. Select your background node and then type edge detector. We want to add a bit of stroke to our edge, so you just can see it has changed the color, right? And then we'll just play around with the edge detector until the button there looks a bit appealing, right? So you select your edge detector, go to your inspector and just be playing around with it, right? So with this one, it basically has no rule. All you do is you play around with it until you feel that it has given you that nice glow around your shape that you did, right? Okay, so increase the blur a bit, something like that. You just play around with them until everything sits well. Okay, so just keep on playing with it. I just want that. Okay, I think it's coming. Yeah, I want that nice glue around it, so that's what I'm currently doing. So when you are happy with it, no, that is too much. So let me drag it back down. Okay, something like that. You drag it down. All right. So when you're happy with it, you can just proceed with whatever you want to do. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to bring a mouse icon in. So as if the mouse comes and then comes to click on a subscribe button, right? but then I'm feeling quite lazy to go and download a mouse PNG and all that. So I'll use the circle for this demonstration. But it's basically the same. If you want to use a mouse, you can just go online and go and search for mouse icon and then you drag it in, right? But for this case, I'm using a background. So whenever you hear me talk about background, you can just replace it with mouse, right? I hope we're on the same page. Okay, so when we play through, that's what we should get in. All right, let me check if it's still recording. Okay, it's still recording. So select that merge node, hit shift space bar, add another merge node, bring in a background node. So just go there and just drag a background node in like that, connect it to the merge node so you can see everything has turned black. We just bring in our rectangular mask just as we always do, hold shift and drag it in like that, connect the rectangular mask to the background node like that, change the width and height until you get something that looks like a circle, right? Extend the rounded corner radius. We'll change it until it looks like a very small circle. Now we'll change that small circle to a blue color, right? I paused the video and didn't know, so I didn't really show the process of how to change to a blue color, but it's basically the same. So change to a blue color, drag in a transform node, right? Scale it down a bit, right? Now I want to animate that mouse or that circle thing. Come and click on the subscribe button, right? So you select the transform node, you take it to a point, your playhead to a point where you want that animation to start, right? And then you just put a keyframe on your transform controls, right? You put a keyframe on your transform controls, right? So you just drag it down like that. You just hold your red icon on your screen and drag it out like that. So something like that is cool, right? Bring your playhead forward a bit and then drag it up like that, right? So just drag it up like that so it comes in like that, right? So I want it to come from the bottom and then come and click on the subscribe button, right? So bring our player forward a bit and then we'll increase our size, because when we click we assume that the size has to increase a bit, right? So increase our size, exactly, and then we'll take our player forward again and then decrease our size a bit, so it's like it clicks, it increases and then it decreases. That's what we just want to do there, right? We increase our size a bit and then we just take our playhead back and then we play everything. Oh, it's still lagging. uh, Guys, it's still lagging though, but you can just see the concept, right? So it comes, clicks on it, right? It comes and then clicks on it like that, exactly. So something like that, right? That's what we just created, right? Now select our transform node, go to the spline. You're going to see a lot of nodes, but make sure you selected just for the transform node, right? So you turn everything off and just leave for the transform node. So you can see me turning everything off, and just make sure you've left for the transform node, the latest transform node that you've just done, right? And then we are going to do the same smoothing, right? So you click on that, extend, so that you see everything that is going on there, zoom to fit, and make sure I turn this rather up, turn this on and turn everything off, zoom to fit like that. You select everything and then you hit S on your keyboard, right? So now you smoothed that mouse pointer out, right? So it comes in very smoothly. So select everything, so all the animations today are just going to smoothen everything out, right? Exactly. I think the tutorial that I should start making these days are explainer videos instead of making these advanced tutorials, because until I get a good PC, these advanced tutorials are going to be somehow confusing because the playback doesn't really permit me. So guys, kindly subscribe so that I get monetized as soon as possible, please. So take our player back and play it so you can see it come in, click on it like that, right? Now what we want to also add is when it clicks on it, we want to change the color, right? So we want to assume that when it comes and it clicks on it, the color will change, right? So we'll take our playhead right where it clicks on it, right? Let's drag to our nodes, right? And then we'll go to the background, right? Let's add some motion blur first. So make sure you're on your transform and then add some motion blur to it, right? So take our motion blur quality up a bit, right? And then now what I said, when it clicks on it, we want the color to change, right? So since we want the color to change, we are going to select our background, right? take our playhead to exactly where it clicks on the icon, right? Let's add some camera shake so that when it clicks on it, it's like shakes a bit, right? So we just play around with the speed of the camera shake. Play around with the speed of the camera shake like that, right? And then now with the final text animation, we take our playhead. So let's take our playhead to the background, right? The small background, that's what we're talking about. And take our playhead to where it clicks on it. So where it exactly clicks on it, we'll put a keyframe on the colors, right? So we'll put a keyframe on the colors. So let's make sure it's at exactly where it clicks on it. Okay, so somewhere there. Put a keyframe on the colors like that. Okay. And then we'll bring it up a bit, right? We'll bring it up a bit. Okay, we'll bring it forward a bit where it zooms out, and then we'll change the color. So to change the color, we don't want to change the color completely, right? So what we want to do is we just want to play around with the red, green, and blue. So we'll just be dragging out the red, green, and blue until we get a color that looks nice to us, right? So we'll just drag in the red, green, and blue like that, play around with them, right, until we get a color that looks nice to us, right? So I think when we drag our alpha down like that, it looks nice. Okay, right, it looks like how the liquid glass effect is, right? So when it comes in and hits on it, you can see that the color changes beautifully, right? So guys, with this concept, you'll be able to build any animation at all of your choice, right? So yeah, let me show you the entire thing that we've done so far, so you get to see whatever that is going on in our timeline. I hope you're cool, and I hope you understand the concept. If you understand it, if you understood whatever went on, kindly give this video a subscription, and then make sure you follow me for more quality content. Yeah, let's just get engaged. We can grow together. All right, thanks for watching. Let me show you the full video. I'm coming. Let me just make a few tweaks to it, right? I just want to make the rectangle that we did, when it changes color, it should bounce in and out a bit, right? So I'm just putting a keyframe on the rectangle max so that it bounces in and out, because when something clicks on you, you have to at least, show some movement, right? So that's what I'm basically doing, right? And I've taught you guys that, so you can just apply to it, right? You can just apply it to whatever that we did there. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so I think we are done. So this is how the animation should look. Clicks on it, right? Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe.